Hello, and welcome to another edition of AppSec Decoded. I'm Taylor Armerding, security advocate with the Synopsys Software Integrity Group, coming to you from the 2023 RSA Conference in San Francisco. And today we're going to be talking about how to survive and thrive amidst one of the great conflicts in software development, where a seemingly irresistible force collides with an immovable object. And that, of course, would be achieving security simplicity when you have application chaos. And joining me to talk about that is Boo Lam, community evangelist for F5's Dev Central community. He talks with industry professionals about a wide array of enterprise IT topics and enjoys bringing to light the modern challenges of designing technology solutions that solve business needs. So, Boo, thanks so much for being here. And let's start with that collision we were just talking about. It's that we just mentioned. How is the speed of application release affecting app security?
Yeah, I think we're seeing two forces meeting head to head, and one of those forces has the business behind it.
Right.
So the developers who need to release code, they're enabling the business to do more. They're enabling the business to take in more revenue, serve their customers better. They're adding in competitive advantages over other companies as well. And everybody at this point is trying to leapfrog everybody else. And so while they're doing that, they might not be looking at their code in a secure way. Maybe it's somewhere in their minds, but whether it's in the front or the back, we gotta find that out. But now you have app security people who are saying, okay, hold on. If you just wait a second and let us go through the code and do our scans and whatnot, then we can help you out in protecting that application before it goes live. But maybe that takes too long in the eyes of the application developers, and they might just say, you know what, it's got to ship now, and we don't have time for that.
Right. Well, I've heard many times, and I hear from the experts on my teams about how what they hear from developers is, yeah, we'd love to have security in our development stream as long as it doesn't slow us down.
Yeah.
And so, hence there's all this talk about making the secure way the easy way.
Yeah.
But that's probably not an overnight thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's and then also it seems like the pressure that's really in your face is the pressure for speed that they're feeling the most. So, which leads to our next question. What does the ideal world, the utopia where security and development teams play nice together, what does that look like?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think it's going to even start at the education level. Like somebody on their first day of college, that first application that they're writing, they open up their programming textbook and it's going to say hello world, and then goes on to input code and then input something and then be able to output that out back into the screen. Right. Well, they're not writing that necessarily in a secure way. They're writing in a way that's going to work. You want to feel confident with that first application that it's working, not run into a bunch of errors and whatnot. So I can see why it's written like that. But in an ideal world, everybody knows how to write secure code right away. Now, that's not the ideal world that we're in now. I think we have a mutual friend, Tanya Janka, who is working on actually some of that education. So that's going to be great. But until that time, until that's spread out everywhere, now we have people who aren't necessarily coding securely in the workplace.
Yeah.
And so they need to be able to establish a level of trust with each other that, hey, I'm not here to tell you to stop writing your code or try to slow you down, but I do need to insert myself into certain points, hopefully where it is convenient to be able to check code, to be able to do scans. And you know what? If something does get through all of that, then there are tools in place that we can still protect that code once it's out in the wild, putting it behind certain products so that we're still safe at that point. But the closer that we can, in an ideal world, close as day one of programming, but in today's world, maybe this is just a really tight collaboration where everybody has established trust, and maybe some of that trust just comes from small wins that are built up over time.
Right. And so obviously the goal is win-win, it's for everybody to win. So what specific things would you suggest need to be done to help progress toward the utopia, the ideal world?
Yeah, those small wins that I talked about, maybe some of those small wins are going to be sitting down with somebody and gently showing them some mistakes that were made, or we don't have, opportunities for change.
Yes.
Showing them kind of little bit by bit, hey, this is something that this could have been bad, but we're going to prevent it now, and just establishing some of that time. And maybe that's going to be built up to the point where, okay, now the developers are actually trusting you and actually coming out and saying, okay, we're about to we're planning on doing this. What kind of things should we watch out for as we're building this? And then as they go through that process of building that application, there's some checkpoints along the way where they get to touch base with the security team.
So basically buy-in and helping to,
Yeah, and it's not scary.
Well, like you said, it's about trust.
Yep.
If everybody trusts one another, then everybody has a better chance to win.
Yeah. And I think everyone has good intentions.
Yes.
Too. I don't think anybody's malicious out there trying to write bad code, but everybody has potentially different goals in mind, and everybody needs to align on at least on this one goal.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks very, very much. We're going to leave it there for now. But once again, you've been watching AppSec Decoded. Thanks to you, our audience. And until next time, I'm Taylor Armerding. Thanks to Boo Lam for being with us. I'm Taylor Armerding for the Synopsys Software Integrity Group. We help organizations build trust into their software.